That will be key to accelerating this. But for the present, in the next 2, 3, 4 years, it will be coal downstreaming. Hopefully they can come up in 2025 and 26. And in the interim, we want to strengthen our coal business and earn as much as we can out of it. Reducing costs, reducing our dependence on fuels. We are looking at electrification of our diesel equipment. We are looking at biofuels as a partial substitute for diesel. Now, all those things that we are looking at. Sorry, you had a question.
Yep. Yeah, I heard that you mentioned BRMS and Thermahenwa. So is it safe to assume that we will be seeing more surprises coming from both BRMS and Dewa?
You see, surprises can be pleasant and unpleasant. Now, which one do you have in mind?
What I have in mind.
The pleasant one.
Yes.
The pleasant one, Pak Dilip.
All right.
Of course, the pleasant one.
Look, I can't speak for BRMS because, they are a subsidiary and they have an independent management. And they are pretty visible on their plans. So if we just look at their assets and their future plans, I think there's definitely a pleasant upside potential there. Thermahenwa has a lot more of challenges with regard to equipment and with regard to the conditions. So that might take a little longer. But I would say that I would lay my bets more on BRMS and over the medium term on Thermahenwa.
Okay.
But definitely, if I was you, I would lay bets on Bumi as well.
Okay. Oh ya, ini menarik banget.
But I'm not promoting Bumi. I'm not promoting Bumi. Basically, I'm giving the story that if you think that this is something that is worth investing, it is your call. But then you also have 600 other stocks to choose from. So.
Of course, Pak Dilip.
Wah, benar-benar menarik banget ya jadi penjelasannya
Betul.
Pak Dilip tadi. Jadi bukan cuman coal, tapi ternyata akan fokus juga ke investment lain, bahkan green investment ya. Dan tadi Pak Dilip juga sempat mention ke kita soal BRMS dan Dewa. Wah, ini worth to watch nih mungkin ya Nil ke depannya.
Iya. Karena tadi juga di-mention itu ya, coal downstream ya ke depannya ya.
Iya.
Silakan.
Pak Dilip, well, it seems like you are trying to move away from coal, but
No, we are not moving away from coal. We are not investing in capacity in coal. But our organic capability from KPC, our opinion is 90 million tons. This year we may produce 75 million tons. So we would like to bring the efficiency back to around 90. And Pendopo, we are looking at mine mouth projects which are clean and green. That may have some potential also to add to coal. But we are not divesting, if that's the question you're asking.
Yeah. Okay. If you're not divesting, probably, do you see going forward? Do you see you will, increase your ownership in KPC, because currently you have like around 51% of KPC, and if you can consolidate KPC, probably it could be better for Bumi, and you can be, of course, more effective, sir. What do you see
let me tell you about KPC. Now, KPC's capacity is 60 or 65 million tons. The average price today, from if you look even at DMO and export, let us say KPC is around $140, $150 per ton. So on a 100% basis, the potential in KPC is $9 billion of revenue. So when you're looking at EBITDA, if you break it down, 24% royalty from 9 billion, and then you take your production cash cost at $45, $46, and you take that off, and you take 6 or 7% off for your G&A and operating expenses and marketing expenses, you can pretty much get EBITDA. Now that EBITDA can be in the region of about $3 billion, if not more, maybe 3.5. At this point of time, our ownership is 51%. So we are, you can say, reasonably happy with our 50%, simply because it has allowed us to grow with very strong partners. And we've been able to attract very strong partners. And even if we have a new affiliate and a new strategic partner, is largely because of the strength of our coal assets. So it's always a good idea, to share the sunshine, so to say, and not just keep it for yourselves. But yes, when it comes to KPC, KPC is owned 51% by us. 30% is owned by Tata Power. And 19% is owned by CIC. All of them view this as a very valuable project. Now, in the event that any one of the partners are willing to offload or to divest, now that's an option that could be made available to us, because under the agreement, they have to sell only to us as the first option. But I don't see signs of that right now, because right now, even though fossil fuels are considered dirty, they're actually making the maximum money out of any sector in the world. So even funds which were denying funding in the US for coal investments, people like Vanguard have also done an about turn, and they said we owe a fiduciary duty to our clients to generate profits for them. So we cannot ignore coal, we cannot ignore fossil fuels. For the moment, they have gone back to investing in these areas. And we are hoping that local banks, which have already denied funding for coal, can actually take a lesson from this and actually start looking at it more empathetically.
Okay. Probably one last question.
I mean, if the opportunity is there, we will take it. But at this point of time, it's very difficult to be precise about it or to be definite about it.
Yeah.
Because by taking in partners, it gives you the opportunity to multiply your growth and investment and value, rather than just do it yourself.
Okay. Probably last question from my side. So from what you said before, all I can see is all about massive investments going forward, and to do these massive investments, do you need to do some fundraising in the future, or will you be able to just do the investments from your generated cash flow?
See, we'll have to look at it project by project. It is not something where one can make a blanket statement. The first question is that yes, we will have cash available to us, assuming that the 11th of October event is successful and everything is approved and passed, and okay. And that's going to be available to us. And we are not investing, as I said, in coal capacity. We will only do sustenance and maintenance, which is maybe about $50 million a year or $60 million a year will be our capex. We don't really need very much more of equipment or balancing what you call capex. Equipment, yes, you might need to renew a bit, but it's not going to be significant. In any case, we will get lease money for that from the people who supply the equipment. And we've been their clients for the last 30 years, so we don't see a problem there. Now, the second one is, if we are looking at, let's say, the coal downstream project, the way it operates is that it will be project funded, which means that there will be an overseas technology supplier. The technology supplier is going to put up the money and to put up the plant. Our equity at this point of time is supply of coal. And then we will get involved in the marketing of the finished product. And at that stage, when it is nearing completion, we can take a view on whether we should have a larger investment position or not. And that's the kind of philosophy that we will extend to Arutmin, and let us see what we do for the smelter and the other things that we are looking at. You see, for that, the challenge again is that if you are looking at projects which are very power heavy, they require a lot of power, then you need to put up a coal-fired power plant. It's very difficult to find funding for it. Now, when we've been talking to investors, and we were recently in London at the JP Morgan Forum, we asked investors very specifically that, listen, here are our green plans. But even for our green plans, we need to put up coal-fired power projects. Does your fund allow you to invest in coal? If they don't allow you to invest in coal, why are we wasting our time? You go home, I go home, right? Now, we found that the Europeans appeared to be pretty strong that they will not invest. But when we talked to the Americans, they said, yes, we can consider that investment. We are not banned as yet. So we'll have to be careful on who we pick upon, to do the funding. Now, the local banks are getting shy. Singapore is getting shy. Japan is getting shy. China is not shy. India is not particularly shy. US is not particularly shy. They are still producing coal. I think they're producing 700 million tons of coal. About 5 years earlier, they were doing 800 or 900, but we're getting back to coal. Europe is getting back to coal, even though they've said that we don't want to use coal. So we feel that there could be some flexibility in funding requirements. And I'm not very sure whether the investment required will be pure loans. I think our equity stake will need to be considered. I don't think we are looking at 100% equity stake or a full project cost. We will bring in strategic partners. We've enjoyed our experience with CIC and Tata Power in KPC. And even for the coal downstream projects, our only equity is supply of coal. So we can begin with that. So we can take smaller positions and scale up, as the project becomes more and more promising and nearing commercialization. So we will not be taking what is called a $5 billion loan upfront. I think we'll be doing it in very small dollops.
Really interesting, Dilip. But unfortunately,
you see, one thing you must remember, that we are not interested in only making a statement for purposes of positioning. We have noticed that in the green space, there are many companies who are making statements.
Yes.
But when we ask them, like when people say we are doing it, how much is your rate of return? What are you promising your investors? What kind of dividend or profit do you think you can get out of it? There is actually not much of an answer. They seem to be more as a positioning exercise in line with priorities that the funders are asking for a green transition plan, so they're giving the green transition plan. They're announcing an exit from coal synthetically, or they're announcing EVs and other things which are untested right now, getting into batteries and all. So we've opted not to do all that ourselves. We've opted that let other parts of the Bharti group do all that. So we can ride on their green credentials. And we will do what suits Bumi best and gets us the right return. And we will announce these projects once we are certain about these projects. We don't want to do kite flying in the air.
Okay, Pak Dilip, it is really, really interesting. We got a lot of insight from you just in 45 minutes. Unfortunately, our time is up, but we have a great pleasure to talk to you today. Many thanks for your insight, Pak Dilip. I hope we can talk again more soon in another event. Thank you very much, Pak Dilip. See you
You're
soon
most
in another
welcome,
event.
Pa, and I'm very happy that I was able to talk to you all and your community. And maybe one day you might consider Bumi worthy of being covered.
Yes.
And
Of course.
we look forward to proxies from your clients for our extraordinary general meeting on the 11th of October.
Sure. Looking forward for that meeting, Pak Dilip. Thank you very much for your time today.
Most
Thank you
welcome.
so. Thank you very much, sir.
See you again in another
Thank you very
event, Pak
much.
Dilip. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you
take
very much,
care.
sir. I hope the
Have a good weekend.
have a good weekend, sir.
Thank you. Now,
Oke, dan itu dia tadi ya perbincangan kita dengan Pak Dilip. Kita dapat banyak, lumayan, bukan lumayan banyak lagi. Ini mah banyak banget ya, kita dapat data ya kurang lebih.